Hello and welcome to Market House, the podcast where we talk all things Disney. My name's Caleb.
And I'm Caitlin.
And this week we talk about a dining reservation update.
The holidays coming to Disneyland.
And we share all the things we miss at Disneyland that no longer exist. Let's dive in. All right, and this is episode number 95. Can't wait to dive in and get started with you guys, talking all things Disney.
Yes, as always, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. It has been a good week, actually.
Yeah.
Work went by. Caitlin and I talked the other day, and we said, I don't know if this week was long or short. Like, the days felt long, but the week flew by.
Yeah, because Thursday afternoon, I'm like, wow, it's Friday already tomorrow. Like, it was kind of a cool feeling.
Yeah,
But
but like, getting to Thursday was a drag. So I don't know how that happens. Our I don't know, time
something
clock is all messed up. Life's busy right now. It's like, I'm not complaining. It's fun. It's all exciting things. We're getting ready for the baby to come
baby, yeah.
in November. How are you? I haven't asked on the podcast, and I can't talk. I said asked. I haven't asked on the podcast. How are you feeling?
I was going to say, I'm like, yes, you have. We talk about this every day.
I know, but how are you feeling? Let's share it with everyone else.
I'm feeling great, honestly. I'm nearing the end of the second trimester, which is so crazy to me. Other than just being super tired, and I'm starting to experience like the random achy, like my bones are starting to
Yeah, your back is starting to
My
hurt a
back
little bit.
But yeah, it's mainly in the morning, and then at night I'm like super fatigued and just really tired. Caleb always laughs. I usually take about a 2-hour nap when I get home from work every single day, and if I don't, I'm a zombie by like 8:30 at night. So other than that, everything's going great. We've been diving into I almost said the nursery / like registry. And let me tell you, I never understood how in-depth that these things are. There's so many different elements and things that you have to think about and research.
Yeah.
I thought you would just, like you add bibs.
Yeah.
No.
And that's the hard thing, is that there's like 47 different options. And it's overwhelming.
Yeah, and the problem that I'm running into, which a lot of you are probably like, oh, she's new. It's like I'm looking online because, again, we've never had a little one before. We have friends who have kids, which they've been super helpful and just amazing with just feedback. But other than that, it's like I've been looking online and everyone has such a different opinion on literally everything.
Of course.
That I'm just kind of like,
welcome to the world.
Yeah. So we've just been diving through that. But again, time is flying, and I can't believe she's already going to be here like super soon. That's crazy.
It is unbelievable. So we're preparing for that. So that's keeping us busy. Of course, we've got jobs, so we're working those as well. And, exhausted at the end of the day. And then you got to, plan for baby. And also, again, this is a fun part, but we also prep for the podcast every week.
Yeah.
And so it's just a lot of time. So we decided to kick back last night and treat ourselves to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, because we did not catch it in theaters. Again, I don't remember why. That would be one I wanted to go see in theaters, like schedule or something.
I think so. We just never did it.
Okay, so totally wanted to see it. I think by the time we had time to go see it, it was like probably showing in like, 2 showings a day in the tiny theater that no one wants to see a movie in. So I just said, let's just wait till it comes out on Disney Plus. It finally did. So Caitlin made me some gluten-free chocolate chip cookies, which were bomb. We've got a few left over. I'll be partaking in those today.
After this. Hopefully.
Exactly, yes. And we watched the movie. And let me tell you, it was a good movie. Don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to lie. It probably was my least favorite out of the 3.
Yeah. And again, before everyone, because we know it's a favorite, for everyone's like, how could you say that? It was a really good movie, but I felt like it was way more dark than all the other ones. I'm used to like just laughing the whole time. Like I love the soundtrack and like, this is happening.
I think that's, people criticized the second one for being too like dumb humor. And so I think maybe that's why they like laxed a little bit and went with more like blow up in your face stuff. I think what got me and what kind of makes me upset, and this is not Guardians' problem, this is a Marvel problem, is there's like 2 or 3 like, he's gonna die. Gotcha! He didn't.
Yes.
And I don't believe any of it now.
Yeah.
So if someone passes on screen, I'm not gonna use the other word, I just know in like 15 minutes they're gonna be back and alive.
Yeah.
So none of it has any stakes to me, because I just know it's like, oh, that's a fake out.
Yeah, which speaking of, I'm going to talk about a couple things that might be spoilers, so you haven't seen it, just FYI. But the way that they made Rocket look, just the hair It looked so real.
Yeah, the special effects, the CGI was unbelievable.
Beautiful. But the whole time, every time I'd see his cute little baby face throughout the movie, I was like, I literally wanted to cry. I don't know if it's just hormones, but like they did such a good job at capturing you like emotionally with him. That whole story was so dark and so sad.
I think maybe the more we sit on it, because now that I'm looking back, like I'm kind of liking it a little more. I think maybe when we sit with it, it was just a little, the tone of the movie was a little more like, whoa, that was like serious.
Yeah, no, it was a great movie.
It was very adult. I was not expecting, number one, an F-bomb.
Yes.
And then
there's a couple things.
Which again, if you're watching an adult movie, you expect that. So you go in expecting it. But Disney Plus, my goodness. Like if we brought it was PG-13. If you brought a 13-year-old in that movie, it was pretty graphic. Like I sound like an old man now.
Look at us with our parental brains
I
already.
know. How she's never gonna see that movie.
But I have to say, Drax. Oh my gosh, Drax was so good in this one.
Him.
Literally, we cracked up literally the whole time, especially like the scenes with him talking to the kids at the end.
Yes. And if I'm not mistaken, again, you serious Marvel fans out there, we're very casual, Caitlin and I. But if I'm not mistaken, that was his last time, Dave Bautista, playing Drax. I think he's done. He's
That's sad.
I'm done. I don't want to do it anymore. I think he's enjoyed the time doing it. I think he's just peacing out. So that was kind of sad seeing his last possible time portraying Drax.
Yeah, and then seeing at the end of the movie that Star-Lord will be returning.
I know.
That was interesting.
The Pratster, he loves that check.
Yes.
Hey, if I was getting paid whatever he gets paid, 12, 15 million a movie, I'd do it too.
Oh, and really quick, what was with Groot saying, I love you guys?
Oh, I know. So maybe that happens in the comics or something, because again, we're not huge Marvel freaks, but like, I am Groot. That was his thing through Avengers movies, through the Guardians movies. And then like he just busts out with like, I love you guys. So that was a total curveball.
Yeah.
Again, if someone knows what that is, if that's in the lore, if he can now talk normal, let us know.
I miss Baby Groot.
Baby Groot.
Baby Groot's the best.
He was the best. Hey, before we dive into that Disney news, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It's a really big help to the show, guys. Again, I don't know if you understand how much that impacts a show. It just helps us show up higher in the search results. If someone looks for a Disney podcast on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, it helps us out there, and it shows other people that you are enjoying the show.
Yes, and if you decide to do a written review, which we would so appreciate, let us know what your favorite thing is about Market House, like what you're enjoying, how you found us, because we're always so curious about our new listeners that we do get reached out to about, like, where'd you guys come from? Like, what episode did you start listening to us?
Yes.
Like, I would love to know that.
I would also love to know that. You can also support the show by using our Getaway Today link to book your Disney vacations. You can save an additional $10 on a vacation package if you use code MarketHouse10. Okay, you know what? The first news story is going to be big. So just stick around and hear what we have to share.
All right, for our first news story, we have some super, super exciting news. For those who don't follow us over on Instagram, we did a little teaser on Friday saying that something exciting was coming on Monday, and we are here to tell you guys that we are so excited to announce that we are launching a Patreon.
Yes, so we are starting a Patreon, again, giving you guys the opportunity to support the show, and let me kind of dive in as to why we're starting this. It's surprising how expensive it is to actually run a podcast. And again, I'm not complaining. We love doing this, and this was just kind of the cost of doing business. We knew this going into it. But it's surprising after, nearly 2 years of doing this, costs add up. So you've got editing software. You've got the music we play in our shows. That all is licensed music. So that all has to be paid to something called Epidemic Sound. You've got Caitlin's editing software for pictures. You've got, what else do we pay for? The website.
There's a ton.
You name it.
A ton of different things.
You name it, it costs money. You know how this world is, with inflation and stuff.
Right.
Everything's expensive. So again, that's not the only reason we're starting this. Again, I think you guys know the realities of just this kind of stuff. You'd love to support it. I know you would if it's available. And so we're asking if you'd love to do this. We'd love for you to kind of join our Patreon community, and you're going to get some perks along the way.
Yes.
This is not just a one-way street, guys. You're going to get some fun new things and opportunities by joining this Patreon community. And let me kind of give you some more details. I'm going to let you go search it yourself to get all the details, but let me tell you what the name is. So we're starting off with one tier, keeping it simple, and it's the Dream tier.
I love it. I'm so excited for this.
Our dreamers. The dreamers of the world. Join the Dream tier. Again, we're going off the Disney Cruise Line name, the ships. Right? We love the Dream.
We love the Dream.
It's our one true love. So we're starting with the dream. And again, for the price of a coffee, you're supporting our show and getting some fun perks there too. So to get more details, go to markethousepodcast.com/support or /. Caitlin said, it's officially a / bro. So markethousepodcast.com/support to go see that. Again, it'll be linked in the episode description, and Caitlin will put it on Instagram. So if you don't memorize that, no problem. But you can go see the details there. We'd love to have you over there. And again, let's start a fun community and again, get some fun new perks.
Yeah, this is something we're just super excited about. So again, let us know if you have any questions. But we're looking forward to seeing how, this kind of transpires and how it grows and just building this community with you guys. Because there's so many of you that we've just met and connected with on here. And we just appreciate all of you guys. So we're super excited for this.
We are. And again, like Caitlin said, thank you for mentioning that. This is going to evolve over time. So we'll add new tiers as maybe the opportunity comes up. Mm-hmm. And with more perks or what have you, we'll mess with this as time goes on and figure out what you guys are looking for. So again, thank you so much in advance for joining our community, and we'll see how this all goes.
Yay!
All right, next up, we've got some fun Disneyland and Walt Disney World news. Both are getting an update to the dining reservation system. So up until now, the system would show you 3 random times available at the restaurant. No rhyme or reason. You would open up the reservation thing and it'd be like 10:15, 1:30, and 7 o'clock.
And it was such a pain.
It was so, and then you'd have to refresh to get new ones suggested. It didn't make any sense. I don't know why it ever was that. So again, this is less of a news thing and more of a good for you. You've modernized your software. Now the system's going to show all available times in order, and it's also going to categorize them by meal time, so you know what menu is going to be available at that time. So again, it would be confusing if you would. Maybe you did a reservation for 11 and you wouldn't be sure, are they still serving breakfast items? It's going to tell you plain and clear, this is lunch at Carnation Cafe at 11 a.m. And so it's going to also offer you the menu to take a look at. So again, it makes sense. They should have done this a long time ago.
Yeah, and it's something that's going to make just the reservation process so much easier for those of us who have to wake up at the crack of dawn to get a lamplight reservation. This is going to be very easy.
Yes, and this is going to be released in the coming days. That's from Disney, so it could come in a week, could come in 21 days, who knows? But again, look out for that update for easier dining reservations. All right, and for our final news story, we've got some holiday news coming your way from the Disneyland Resort. It is going to officially start. The holidays at Disneyland is going to start on November 10th and run through January 7th. That is beautiful.
I can't wait.
I cannot wait.
I'm so excited.
This is about the time we start decorating our house, the first week of November, because you know what? It's too little time. So the people that wait till after Thanksgiving, I don't understand it because I don't have Thanksgiving decorations. Do people do that?
Yeah, it's more fall decor.
I don't like it.
Well,
I think you know why I don't enjoy it that much is because it's still pretty warm here, and I don't feel the fall. I don't feel the fall vibes because it's still 87 degrees outside.
That's true. It's just for us when we decorate for Halloween, it's 95 degrees here, so it's always really weird. But it's one of those things where people do like it. A lot of people host for Thanksgiving, so I do understand not having Christmas decor up.
I understand,
but.
I love having the holiday stuff up. We put our tree up the first week of November, and just things start happening. So, anyways, Festival of the Holidays, the World of Color Season of Light Show, and Viva Navidad will all be returning to DCA. We love the Festival of the Holidays, those food booths. Again, I can't partake in a lot of them because of the gluten stuff.
Yes.
But I love seeing all the fun offerings. And Caitlin, you have eaten a couple things from there.
A couple things. And they're really good. And the booths are so cute.
They are fun.
Yeah.
I love the names. A Christmas Fantasy Parade, Believe in Holiday Magic, and the It's a Small World and Haunted Mansion holiday overlays will all be returning to Disneyland as well. And some fun news. The holiday overlay is going to be opening, September 1st?
Yes, and it's actually going to be going down in I think it's next Friday it closes.
Okay.
Could be wrong, but I know it's coming up in the next week or so. It is going down for refurbishment.
Oh
so
my gosh.
Definitely get those last rides in because Jack Skellington is on his way.
On his way. He's going to get the dust brushed off and come into that mansion. We cannot wait. We love the holidays at the parks. Unfortunately, we'll probably be missing out. Not probably, we will be.
I was going to say, no, we are.
You want to take a 1-month-old to the parks?
I mean, you know me, I totally would.
Yeah, so if you've got advice on how to do that, share it with us. But that is the news for this week. right, you know what that cash register sound means. It is time for Shop the Mouse with Market House. Caitlin, the people are dying. They need to know, what do they need to spend their money on today?
Well, this is so fun because this is like my favorite time of year to do Shop the Mouse because it's all the holiday stuff. So we're starting with Halloween and then we're going to dive right into Christmas in a couple weeks. So
Okay.
I am so excited. But this one's going to be a little different because a lot of these items are either only at the Disneyland Resort or they're extremely hard to get on Shop Disney. So they are things that you can get, as I mentioned, at Disneyland. It's one of those where if you want to get one of these items on Shop Disney, you're going to have to get up at the crack of dawn and get it within like 2 seconds or it will be gone.
Yes,
So,
literally practice pressing your phone as fast as humanly possible.
yes.
Like, brr, brr, like that. That's the exact sound it makes too when you hit your glass. Yeah.
So for our first item, we have, of course, none other than the Mickey Light Up Jack-O-Lantern Pumpkin. Now, I'm sure all of you have seen this everywhere. It's the massive, like, plastic Mickey pumpkin that they're selling at the parks. They did have it last year. The current price for this pumpkin is $74.99. Last year when Caleb and I got it, it was $64.99. So it has gone up $10.
Inflation.
Yes. So it has been at Disneyland, like, all over the place. I don't believe it's selling out as quickly as it was in the parks last year. However, on Shop Disney, they just released it. It was gone within like a minute or
They
something.
said 3 minutes.
It was something crazy. So this did happen last year with Shop Disney. And Caleb, I think, didn't you wake up at like midnight or something to grab it?
I stayed up. Yes. That's my natural sleep
Yeah.
cycle. I was up anyways, so I said, might as well grab this for Caitlin. And they released it. Yeah. Normally things happen like at 3 or 4 in the morning. Pacific time.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they released it like at 12:05 in the morning, and I was able to grab it.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It lights up. It's a really good size. It's light. Last year when we got it for like $64.99, I'm like, they could have charged way more for this thing. They must have listened to that because
We actually wrote in. We told Disney, you are undercharging for this item. You should charge more.
But it's such a cool item. So I can't link it for you guys right now. However, I will do my best the second I see it pop up. I will link it and put it on stories for you guys so you can try and snag it. So
Great
I
idea.
love it.
What's next?
Next up is something that you can only get at the Disneyland Resort, and it's going to be starting on August 9th. Now, there's a specific time and specific verbiage for this item, but it is the new Hatbox Ghost Tiki mug at Trader Sam's.
Yeah, they've shown pictures of this. I want to drive down there or fly down there just to grab this item and come home.
I
It
know.
looks so cool. And again, this is more of a PSA. Sorry, this isn't a normal like Shop Disney thing. This was so cool that we wanted to share it. So if you happen to be going down, if you've got a friend or a family member, have them grab this mug for you because it looks awesome.
I know. We're so jealous that we're not able to grab it because it's literally the coolest thing ever. Obviously, it's a tiki mug. It's the Hatbox Ghost. It's like that greenish, like teal color. But there's a couple things I did want to highlight and mention. This mug is being released for the 54th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion. And again, as of now, this mug is only going to be at Disneyland. So I'm not sure about the Trader Sam's over at Disney World. All we know is for sure Disneyland
Okay.
at this point. Now, this is going to be available, as I mentioned, on August 9th at 11:30 a.m. Pacific time. Now, there will be lines for this mug, so keep in mind if you want it, it's going to sell out quickly, and you're only able to get 2 mugs per person per transaction. So just keep that in mind.
That's fair.
I think
that
it is
they're trying to
fair.
prevent scalpers because people are
Yes.
mean and will try and sell them out and sell them online.
Now, will people get around it? Yes, they will. So make sure that you get there. If you want to get this mug, grab it. It's at a really random time. It's on I think it's a Wednesday. Is that what August 9th is?
I don't know.
Super random. But if you're able to snag one, let us know. It is seriously the coolest mug ever.
All right, and that brings us to our main segment of this week's episode, and that is things we miss at Disneyland that no longer exist. Let me start off with a quote from the man himself. Disneyland will never be completed. It will continue to grow as long as there is imagination left in the world. Walt Disney himself said those words, and boy, is it true. Things sure have changed over the years, both good and bad, at the parks. Again, so we thought it would be fun to go through all the things we miss at Disneyland that aren't around anymore. And again, this list is by no means exhaustive and in no particular order. So we just kind of put all our thoughts on paper, and we're going to share those with you. Play along at home. If we don't mention something and you're like, dude, you missed a big one, send us a message over on Instagram or the website. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, and this was such a fun idea to do because as we were discussing this episode, to go back and realize, oh my gosh, do you remember so on and so forth? Remember this happening? Remember that doesn't happen anymore? It was cool to kind of revisit those memories and be like, I wish I still did that. So we've kind of gathered some really fun things that we've loved throughout the years that just aren't, as Caleb mentioned, they don't exist anymore. So,
Yeah, at least at Disneyland.
yes,
Might be at somewhere else.
could be.
All right, Caitlin, what's number one?
So number one is, I think, the most obvious, but it's obviously Fast Pass / Max Pass.
Yes, RIP to both of those programs. The best, the OGs, and best. And Max Pass wasn't even OG, and I paid for it, and I loved it.
I loved Max Pass.
So I'm not going to sit here and harp on how terrible. I'm blocking out of my mind because I hate it that much. Genie Plus. And I just, we're not going to talk about that for long because,
No.
Yeah. But Fast Pass, you were amazing. Yeah, was it a pain sometimes running through the parks? But that was the magic of it. Like, I look back on those memories fondly because I remember, like, going into Disneyland and being like, I'll be back. And I'm like sprinting towards Space Mountain to grab a couple of fast passes while you grab breakfast, or, me and my brother grabbing all our tickets and going to grab Splash Mountain fast passes. That was the fun.
Yeah, see, you know what? I have to say, that was one of the worst things about it for me. I wasn't a big fan of that.
I love those. We have all those. We saved all of them, the paper.
Well, no. I liked the element of keeping the paper fast passes, but I'm talking about going around the park. That was very stressful.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes, because we'd be in Tarzan and Caleb would be like, I want to go on Splash Mountain. And I'm like, okay,
No.
well, we have to go across.
Get out.
So what I really loved is Max Pass enabled you to do that on your phone, and it worked.
And it was cheap.
And it was great.
I think it was $10.
Yes.
And it worked great.
Mm-hmm.
So love those programs. We'd love to have you back. Mr. Iger, if you're listening, our number one request. You're not listening. All right. Number two is Paint the Night. This was our favorite parade type show ever in existence. It was amazing. I don't know where it's at now. I think it's at one of the Asian parks.
Yes.
Okay.
And again, it's visually stunning, the soundtrack. It's so good. I literally, I think to this day, it's still my favorite parade.
What?
Yes, hands down.
Even more so than the one we just watched last time. What's the name of that one? Believe in Magic or something like that.
Yes.
With Merlin.
Yes. So I love that one. That's Magic Happens.
Magic Happens.
Yes. So I love Magic Happens, but I feel like there's something special about the Disneyland parades that happened at night, that happen at night because of just all the lights and the music. I feel like
Good point.
really draws in that like Disney magic, and they're just stunning
That's
to
true.
look at.
Good point. We watched it. I remember from Gibson Girl. We were sitting there munching on ice cream and watched Paint the Night through the window. So cool.
And again, the Cars truck. I forget his name.
With all the LEDs on it.
Yeah, it's so
Mac?
Yeah, Mac.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's just awesome.
Good
for
boy.
you.
Good
Yeah.
boy. All right, Caitlin, number three.
Okay, this one is a personal hit home to Caleb, but it is the OG breakfast sandwich at the Galactic Grill.
Yeah, it was magic in between two buns. It was the most delicious thing I've ever had in my life. And I'm a fan of buns. I don't know where I'm going with this, but it was really good. It was like a sausage patty with cheese and egg, and it was terrible for you, and bacon. Like, it was a heart clogger, but it was so dang delicious, and it was gluten-free, but they took it away and then reintroduced it with like ham. I don't want ham, bro.
A ham and cheese bagel.
Nah, I don't want that.
I'm not a ham fan.
No, not a big
don't know
fan
why.
of ham. No, it's not very good. So yeah, we definitely missed that. That was our staple for Disneyland breakfast, and now it's gone.
Yes, now you can get it over at the Carnation Cafe. However, if you have an allergy, it is not the same. I don't recommend it at all. It was not good at all.
The hamburger buns they use are really gross, and it's way overpriced for what it is.
Yes,
So,
I agree.
Number 4 is going to be Mickey in the Magical Map. This was by far our favorite, like, not a play, what would you call it, a production?
Yeah.
At Disneyland. It was so stinking good. The characters that they highlighted and the music and the effects, that stage was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Totally miss it. Lion King was okay.
Yeah.
And I think it was just because it was less impressive, I guess. I don't know. The music was fun.
Yeah, Lion King was great, but I think the one thing that Mickey and the Magical Map had was all the different characters that you normally don't see around Disneyland.
Good point.
So
yeah.
like you see Stitch, and there's Pocahontas, and there's like Rapunzel. Like being able to see like all those different characters all in one show was really fun, and it was a very engaging show because every time we'd see littles or we'd go a family of littles, they were always just super glued.
That's a good point. And when we went and saw Lion King, they were bored as heck about 3 minutes
not
into
so
it.
much. Yeah, they weren't a big fan according to what we saw.
Yeah, so we miss that show a lot. It was fantastic. Caitlin, next on the list.
This one is very sad to me because this was one of my favorite items to get over at Pooh's Corner, but it is the chocolate-covered honeycomb. This was a little treat that Disney decided to not bring back post-pandemic, and it has broken my heart in two. I have no idea why they didn't bring it back, but it was literally crunchy honeycomb dipped in milk chocolate, and it's making my mouth water right now.
It was really, really good. It was a fun treat to get. Again, all those like bag treats are way more expensive than I imagined. They're like $15.99 or something like that.
You get a lot, though.
It's true.
Yeah.
But it was a fun thing to have in your backpack and just pop out and just snack throughout the day because it was delish.
So Disney, please bring that back.
Next up, we've got the physical annual passes. Now would be called a magic key. So I wish they have physical magic keys. Disney doesn't cost you that much money. You know, it's a piece of plastic. Mm-hmm. So we love these because they were way more convenient than taking your phone out all the time. And we missed the AP name as well. Like annual pass was just a better name, I think, than Magic Key. I understand they had to do it to kind of, I don't know, maybe take attention away from the fact that they were stripping it down. And I don't know, rebrand was needed, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I miss having the cards and even the bands and stuff. That's awesome, but it's a paid thing, right?
Yeah.
It's $40 to have something on your wrist.
Yeah, and I think for Caleb and I personally, we like to collect all of our stuff, like since we've been dating and married. So being able to keep those physical cards, like, hey, remember that? Because I'm like, the OG ones were so cool.
I still keep them in our travel backpack for memories and just good luck. Okay. Next up.
All right. So next up, this is something that I don't know if a lot of people agree with me on, but I miss the old version of Fantasmic.
Yeah, you miss the old vocalist. You have a big problem with like the new person, what's wrong with her?
I don't know. I just don't connect with it. I miss the OG version of not only the soundtrack, but also just like Pinocchio's not there anymore.
Yeah, you know more about it because I'm not a giant fan of Fantasmic, but like, yeah, what's missing that you miss?
So I feel like, you know when like the princesses come out?
Yes.
And they're on their like little, what are they called?
Float things.
Flight vehicles. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I just felt like that song was one that I always caught on to like as a little girl. Like I loved that part. And the soundtrack's different now. And so it makes me not connect as much. And it makes me sad.
It's still good.
But it's just one of those things where I'm like, okay. The new Pirates, kind of like when they come out on the pirate ship and they do like the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song, like that's really cool. But like overall, like I do miss just the old version, and I miss the snake that would come out before the Jungle Book scene.
Oh yeah,
that thing was awesome.
Yeah, and wait, it used to be Peter Pan, right? The pirate battle.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, I kind of see what you're saying.
Yes.
Felt a little bit more classic. Okay. Next up, we've got life without park reservations. Do you remember that? Do you remember just planning a trip and not having to worry about if you were blocked out? Not even blocked out, just reserved out?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
We had it really good back then,
Yes,
and we did not realize it. Reservations stink, man. And so hopefully Disney World is slowly going away with them. Hopefully Disneyland follows in suit, but I don't know.
I don't think they will, to be honest.
But we miss those days of just kind of going whenever you wanted. I'd go down for random work trips at last minute, and I'd just be able to walk into the park. I could not do that today.
No. Not unless it was like a Tuesday or something.
Lame. Next
up is fireworks every single night.
Yeah, so I found out in my head as a child, I thought it just happened all the time every night. It did not. Fun fact, it would only happen every night during the anniversary celebration. So during the 50th and the 60th, they got special permission from the city to do fireworks every stinking night for a year straight.
But see, that's what stuck with me though, because that's all I remember.
I know, same.
Because I'm like, again, our families would go during those anniversary celebrations. So again, that's probably why we remember it. But it's one of those things where that was such a fun thing because now I feel like they're just non-existent. Like they never happen or there's always wind.
Well, it's weather.
But I'm kind of like, it never was canceled like that back then.
Again, I think you've got the memory of a child, and so you probably don't remember those bummer nights. You remember the good things.
Why wouldn't you remember the bummer nights as a child?
Just telling you, your brain does a really good job of blocking out all the junk and remembering like, I remember that night I got ice cream. And then in reality, the fireworks were canceled and you're probably crying and your mama said, let me get you some ice cream to make you feel better. All you remember is the ice cream.
Yeah.
Just telling you. Being honest here.
We'll see.
Okay, next up is kind of a cheat. And I feel like this shouldn't be on the list, but I'm just going to say it because we pay for this every year and it hurts. But old pricing, like they've gotten more. I know there's always been price increases since the founding of Disneyland. I understand that, but they've been way more aggressive in recent years. And I miss the days where it would go up by like, I don't know, a pass would go up by $36 and now it's like round numbers. So like it goes up by $95 or
Right.
$120. So
Yeah.
I think they're just more aggressive now. I miss the like, yeah, it's going to go up by nothing, but not too much.
And food pricing.
Oh, you're right.
Like just food pricing overall, like it's expensive to like eat at the park.
It is. I think it's going to slow down though, because Iger did comment on this and said that they felt they've been too aggressive. So hopefully he slows them down a little bit. They'll happen, but just maybe a slower pace.
That's good.
All right.
Next up, we have the merch quality. And for those who are kind of like, what? We have shirts from like 500 years ago from Disneyland that literally are still intact.
I should throw them away because it's probably gross, like the amount of times I've sweat in them or whatever. I have a Disney World shirt that will not die. It is in perfect condition. The neck doesn't stretch out. My problem with Disneyland shirts now today is that the neckline, the instant you wash it, is just stretched. It looks like I have like a, what do you call it? What do you wear? Like a V-neck on.
V-neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that happens with the one thing that kind of bothers me is they shrink even though you don't put them in the dryer. And the other thing that it literally drives me nuts is I have a couple shirts that I purchased that has a design on the front, obviously, because it's from Disneyland. And after 2 washes,
Like
that
flakes
design
off.
is like flaking off.
Yeah.
And again, it's like they're not cheap. You're spending like $30 to $45 for a t-shirt.
I know.
And so it's kind of one of those things where like I want it to last at least a year.
Yeah, so it's a good excuse to go support some small shops. They have some great quality shirts out there and honestly better designs.
Yes.
Disneyland's actually, or Disney in general, has improved greatly in the past couple of years.
100%.
They actually have some pretty awesome shirts. It's just the bummer is when you put them on, you're like, oh, this is very cheap. Should not have paid $32 for this. So again, small shops, go support them. They make some high quality stuff and great designs. Next up, holiday decorations. So I feel like, and this may be just our opinion, I don't know if this is factual or not, but pre-pandemic, we felt like they went up sooner and like in time. Does that make sense? So now they kind of do this like staggered approach. So they'll start like in November, let's say, or the end of October for, let's say, the holiday season, and November. And they'll put out like the wreaths. And then like 4 days later, they put out the lights. And then 2 days later, I felt like back in the day, it was like you woke up the next day, it was all decorated
That's
for
how
Christmas.
it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's one of those things too where I feel like they're more likely to be like, oh yeah, like we're not doing that this year. Like the lights in Walt Disney World.
Oh, I know, the dream
the
lights,
castle?
right? Is that what they're called? The dream lights?
I think so. And I'm kind of
Yeah.
like, that's such a major, and again, I understand that a while ago that they were short staffed. I understand that. But it's kind of like they just feel different now.
We're years removed from what's happened. So.
Or remember like the Christmas season that just happened? The tree was up for like weeks after Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Like through January, and everyone was like, okay, like what's going on?
Like even past the stoppage
Yes.
of the, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where like it just doesn't feel as put together as Disney normally has the holiday season. So.
Yeah. So a small complaint, but that's one of the things we've noticed.
Next
thing.
up, we have ride maintenance and just general park maintenance. So again, we went through a time where they were short-staffed. They didn't have people to kind of fix these things, nor did they want to allocate money. However, I feel like we're far enough removed for that where it should be, kind of like picking up a little bit.
Yeah.
There's just been a couple things that we've noticed at the parks that is just not up to like Disney quality. Whether they're like things just look gross or like rides are breaking down 24/7 throughout the whole entire stay that you're there, rather than just like an hour or two like that would normally happen. So we just miss having the like quick Disney service of like, remember when Indy would go down, it would go down for like an hour and then to be up.
Yeah, now it's like half a day.
Now it's like half a
Or a
day
whole
for
day.
every day.
Yeah, and I think, again, we all know this, like a lot of the engineers that would work on these things, the ride guys, let's say, a lot of them retired during the pandemic because they're out of work.
Oh, yeah.
And they left. I get that. But a lot of legacy knowledge left with those guys. So there's not a lot of them to train these young up-and-coming cast members. And so we need that transfer of knowledge to happen sometime soon.
I agree.
What I've also noticed is, and like people have written books about Disney maintenance and like the magic of Disney that, there would be let's say it was a railing that like was all scuffed up and then like a day later it's all repainted. So there was like stuff that was written about this. I feel like they've just gotten lax in general.
I agree.
So anyways, let's go back to the days of clean Disney, please. OG Star Tours. That's a big one for me. I love, and actually, you know what? The passing of Paul Rubens was really sad to see. He was the voice of Rex, the pilot.
I love Rex.
Yeah, so he's still featured at Oga's Cantina, which is awesome. So a little bit of him lives on, but the OG ride was just better. I think so. I used to literally put the soundtrack on with my brother, and we'd act like my bed was a Star Speeder, Star Cruiser, or whatever,
Yeah.
and play through it. The new one, I'm not a huge fan of.
No. And I do miss riding that ride.
Yeah.
Our motion sickness is so bad. It's just kind of like, All right. Next up is one that might be a little controversial, but I miss Bugs Land. I'm not the biggest fan of Avengers Campus.
I'm in the same boat.
And it's kind of one of those things where it has nothing to do with it being Avengers. Like, I like Avengers, but I just feel like, I don't know. I loved the aspect of Bugs Land. Again, I understand people's complaint where it was just kind of like kiddie rides and it was kind of random.
And they were a little carnival-y. They repurposed a lot of the cheap rides.
But I'm like, there's something nostalgic. I saw a post this past week, actually, of Bugs Land. And I remember being like, do you remember walking through and just having all of like the greenery above your head and like Heimlich's choo-choo train and just... I don't know. The one thing that I do not miss is the smell of those bathrooms.
I was about to say that. It smelled. There was a churro stand, and it would smell delicious for about half a second, and then the smell of sewer would hit you right in the face.
Yes, and again, I understand that Bugs Life isn't as popular as it once was, so they want to get something in there that's more like, yes, Avengers. But I do miss that, especially with us having like a little one now. Like, I would love for her to be able to experience Bugs Land.
Yeah, and I think it's less about the theming, right? Like, I think both themes would have worked. I think they just did. I feel like Avengers Campus was done a little bit on a budget, and we just were delivered like a kind of less than like stellar experience. If they did it big and opened with more than one ride or what have you, I think it would have been cooler, right? So I think if something cooler replaced Bugs Land, I felt like we just lost stuff. We lost a show, we lost a few great kids rides. So I think it was a net loss, in my opinion.
Yeah, and again, you know that they had to do something because they obviously had Guardians back there. And again, we like certain elements of Avengers Campus. We're not just harping on it. Like, we love Pims. But again, like the Spider-Man ride, like, we're not big fans of it. But I feel like that's pretty much it. Like, that's all you can do.
We never go there.
No, we only go for Pims.
Yeah.
That's literally, or to walk through to get to Guardians. So it's a bummer.
It is a bummer. Speaking of Guardians, we miss the Hollywood Tower of Terror. Don't get me wrong, Guardians is a fantastic ride. We love it. It's, I mean, honestly, probably a more fun experience because of the music that plays. They I think, improved on the drop sequence and stuff. It's so flipping fun. But we miss the theming of Hollywood Tower of Terror because it works so much better with Hollywood Boulevard. You're walking down this old, historic Hollywood Boulevard, and you see this old hotel off in the distance. That worked much better than walking down a historic Hollywood Boulevard and seeing, what is it, like a futuristic, weird alien building?
Yeah.
It doesn't
work. Again,
work.
devil's advocate people will be like, well, now it fits because Avengers Campus. But I'm like, I just miss Tower of Terror.
Sightlines, bro. You can't be in one land and see like this huge eyesore of an alien building, and you can see it from like Pixar Pier, and like it just doesn't really work.
Yeah, I agree. I miss it.
I miss it a ton. I mean, remember the costumes, like the bellhop and stuff?
It's so good. Okay, so let me say, are you saying this? Do you prefer Tower of Terror?
I much prefer the theming. I don't know if I prefer the experience though, because the Guardians ride is so much fun.
It's a good ride.
Because we just laugh the entire time.
Yeah. I can't open my eyes though with the video sequences. That's
Get a
why I
little
miss
nauseous.
Tower of Terror more.
Yeah.
Because it was just a drop.
It's true.
But anyways, back on track here. The next thing that I wanted to mention is something that a lot of you might not remember, but Disney or DCA used to do movie sneak peeks in the Captain EO Theater.
You're right. Disneyland, not DCA.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember, it was over next to Space Mountain.
Okay, well then I'm also, remember where Mickey's Fill Our Magic is right now?
Yeah, that was for like 3 seconds.
And I loved it.
Okay.
I missed that too.
Okay.
Yes.
No, this was in the Captain EO Theater, and they had like light and smoke effects. They would show off their newest Disney movie, right? So we saw the preview for Beauty and the Beast, and we watched it like 8 times in there. And then we also watched the Cinderella sneak preview in that theater, and they would like, again, when something would happen on screen, they would have lights behind you that would like strobe light or something like that, or smoke would be released to the theater. Fans would turn on when Emma Watson went on the hill and started singing. What song was it?
I don't know.
I don't know. Whatever it was.
Yeah.
I'm not going to try to attempt to sing to you. But yeah, she would like walk up on this hill and fans would blow in your face and you'd be like, I'm on the hill with her. It was just fun. Now it's just a waste of space. It's just empty. Might as well show off your new stuff.
I missed it. It was fun to do that.
All right. And last, but certainly not least, is Muppet Vision 3D. I loved this show. I mean, absolutely loved it. The Muppets are hilarious. And so the fact that they're gone is a huge bummer. I got Caitlin to like it and enjoy it. We watched it when we were over in Disney World last year.
I love Pepe.
I love Pepe the Prawn.
He's my favorite.
Yep, he's fantastic. So Muppet Vision 3D, we miss you. Again, we're not really doing... Oh, they have Philhar Magic there. which is okay.
It's fine. It's not the best. But the one element of the Muppets I do love is that Disney usually brings them back for Merriest Nights.
They do.
So,
which we won't make this year, but possibly next.
yeah.
Hey, again, like we mentioned, share some of your favorite things you missed from the parks that aren't there anymore. We'd love to hear your list and get in on this fun. Thank you so much for listening. You can find us over on Instagram at Market House Podcast and Threads at Market House Podcast. Make sure to follow us over there for pictures from the park and exciting news and announcements. Again, please consider leaving a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. Both are a giant help to the show. Again, remember, we have launched a Patreon, so go to markethousepodcast.com/support. And you'll find the link there. I'll also link it in the episode description. You can find it over on Instagram. We'd love to have you over there. Thank you in advance for supporting the show. We love all of you. And again, remember to use our Getaway Today link for your future trip bookings. It's in the episode details. We'll see you next week. It's been a blast. Bye.